Have any of you had a loved pet where your pet was part of the family? How about that pet? We're going to read part of Mice and Men about Candy's dog, who he's had it for a long time, and what happens to the dog. I'm trying to relate that to how you feel about your pet, and what would you feel in that situation. During the conversation, Carlson had refused to be drawn in. He continued to look down at the old dog. Candy watched him uneasily. At last, Carlson said, "If you want me to, I'll put the old devil out of his misery, right now, and get it over with. Ain't nothing left for him. Can't eat, can't see, can't even walk without hurting." So, have any of you guys had a pet that you've loved, but the pet's not doing so well? Maybe the pet's old, or has a bum leg from maybe getting in an accident? Tell about that story. How did you feel about your pet being in that much pain? And what did you have to do? Did something to your pet happen that's related to what Carlson's proposing to do to Candy's dog? And what is Candy? And what is Carlson proposing to do with Candy's dog? Candy said hopefully, "You ain't got no gun." "No, I ain't. Got a lugger. It won't hurt him. None at all." Candy said, "Maybe tomorrow. Let's wait till tomorrow." Why do you think Candy wanted to wait at least till tomorrow? Do you think Candy's going to let Carlson shoot the dog? If not, why? And if he will say yes, why do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it's humane to put a dog out of its misery if it's in pain? If it's as old as Candy's dog? Remember, Candy's dog is lame, he's old, he can hardly eat, can't really see. And how would you feel if you had to be the one to put the dog down? "I don't see no reason for it," said Carlson. He went to his bunk, pulled his bag from underneath it, and took out a lugger pistol. "Let's get it over with," he said. "We can't sleep with him stinking around here." He put the pistol in his hip pocket. Candy looked a long time at Slim to try to find some reversal, and Slim gave him none. At last, Candy softly and hopelessly, "All right, take him." He did not look down at the dog at all. He lay back on his bunk and crossed his arms behind his head and stared at the ceiling. How do you think Candy's feeling in this situation? What was he doing when he was looking at Slim? Was he trying to find some sort of refuge, someone to stick up for him? Have any of you been in a situation where you don't want to agree with somebody, but it's so hard not to because no one's backing you up? Have you ever felt hopeless or helpless? Talk about those situations and what you did. Did you stand up for what you believed, or did you follow through? Did you do what they thought was right? From his pocket, Carlson took a little leather thong, which is a whip, not the other kind. He stooped over and tied it around the old dog's neck. All the men except Candy watched him. "Come, boy. Come on, boy," he said gently, and he said apologetically to Candy, "You won't even feel it." Candy did not move nor answer him. He twisted the thong. "Come on, boy." The old dog slowly and stiffly to his feet and followed the gently pulling leash. What's going through Candy's mind right now, if Steinbeck had written that? How would you feel? George followed to the door and shut the door, and set the latch gently in its place. Candy lay rigidly on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Some said, Candy, you can have any one of the pups you want. Candy did not answer. The silence fell in the room again. It came out of the night and invaded the room. What sort of literary device is being used? So how is silence being personified? And what is its effect at this moment? George said, Anybody like to play a little Euchre? I'll play out a few with you, said Whit. They took places opposite each other at the table, under the light, but George did not shuffle the cards. He ripped the edge of the deck nervously, and a little snappy noise drew the eyes of all the men in the room, so that he stopped doing it. Have you ever been in that kind of situation, where suddenly there's this tense silence, and then all of a sudden you hear maybe someone tapping their pencil? Very awkward silence, and someone just wants to break it. And you guys feel in those situations? Do you guys feel like you need to be silent along with it? Or are you the type of person that breaks the silence and says, hey, you need to talk about something. You move on. The silence fell on the room again. So, what's Steinbeck going back to? What kind of literary device? A minute passed, and another minute. Candy lay still, staring at the ceiling. Slim gazed at him for a moment and then looked down at his hand. He subdued one hand with the other and held it down. There came a little gnawing sound from under the floor, and all the men looked down toward it gracefully. Only Candy continued to stare at the ceiling. What's the effect of the personification of the silence? How does it reflect the character's mood? Which character? How does it reflect the reader's mood?